Internet! Hello, you lovelies! A lot of you asked for me to keep breaking down all the news that came out of Disney's D23 event, so we've done Marvel, we've done Star Wars. Now in this video, I'm going to cover all the live-action announcements that aren't part of those two IPs, and then next I'll do a full animation panel covering all the new announcements from Disney Animation, Pixar, etc., but this one is going to be live-action, so please, in the comments below, let me know what you're most excited about. The mouse seems to own everything. Considering my last two reviews, Deadpool and Wolverine and Alien Romulus, two of the best performing reviews on this channel, are both somehow Disney. There's a lot more to come with their live action stuff, and I want to hear from you what you're most excited about. Also, we are approaching 35K on this page, and I am so appreciative, so I just want to send some love between those last two reviews and all the news coming out. You guys have been joining this own personal page, and I really appreciate it. But without further ado, I don't like long intros, let's talk about the live action announcements from D23. The first of which, and I'm going to do this in roughly the order of my excitement, my biggest pop of unknown, of I didn't know I was invested in this, was Tron Ares. Now, I like the first Tron. I like the second Tron. I like the world, I like the visuals, I like the experience, and I like Daft Punk. So that second Tron movie with the homie Garrett Hedlund, who I adore interviewing, and like he's a great dude, was kind of the bar set at what you do with that kind of story, that kind of new sci-fi franchise. And I was really kind of bummed when they didn't bring him back, when they didn't continue that story. But all it took for me to get excited for a Tron movie and set my own personal goals aside with the film was Jeff Bridges coming out on stage and talking about how much this franchise has meant to him, seeing Jeff Bridges adore what this has become, and the idea that this movie is going to be Tron entering our world. Now, it's going to be all of the visuals and aesthetics and craziness, but in our setting, and I think that's going to be great, the dichotomy, the duality between the Tron world and this world, and it looks like those bikes, they literally, that same light trail behind them still slices through everything, but it cuts through our world and reality. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And this stars Jared Leto as Ares himself, which is, the god of war. So there's going to be some elements there with the violence it can bring to our world. And all of that's well and good. It got me from neutral to excited with Jeff Bridges. The Jared Leto of it all, there's other people that I would have put in that spot. But what has me elated was this announcement.
By none other than 9-inch nails.
9-Inch Nails is doing the music for Tron. Not Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, but 9-Inch Nails, a brand, an identity, a band that has meant so much to me since I was a kid. I have adored this band, and Trent Reznor is 9-Inch Nails, and a lot of people don't realize he hires people to tour with him, but he is all of the music. If you've listened to a 9-Inch Nails album, that is all Trent, and mostly all Trent just put together. When he tours, he hires people to play the stuff, but that man is a music genius, and for him to be doing the score for this is the only way that I'm like, okay, it's okay that Daft Punk's not coming back, because they retired, I'm happy for him, let him be retired. 9-Inch Nails, and what a way to do the announcement. This has become from meh to yes with 9-Inch Nails alone. Next up, we've got Avatar: Fire and Ash. Now, this is a movie that is the third in a franchise that the first two have made $1 billion. That is not a common occurrence. There are only 55 films in history that have made $1 billion. 2 of them are Avatar. So clearly this is going to be a hit no matter what, but I have to say the visuals did impress me. I'm not as big of an Avatar guy as most people. Clearly, it made $1 billion. It's beloved, but I'm casually always excited for the spectacle. And I think my big issue with the Avatar films is that it takes James Cameron away from us for so many years. I would love to see him doing more things like The Abyss, or even fixing Terminator, or doing things like Aliens. I would love to see that world, but the splendor and the spectacle and wonder keeps movie theaters open. There is such an important role blockbusters play in keeping my favorite thing, the exhibition industry, open, and Avatar absolutely does that. So if that's the cost, is we don't get other James Cameron things and we get these 7 avatars, I am okay with it. Fire and Ash looks to be the fire element. It looks like he's going between earth, wind, fire, water. He's done water, he's going into fire. He's done earth, I assume, is what the first one's going to represent. So that leaves wind, and I'm assuming lots of flying for the fourth, but we will see. Either way, Fire N'avi intrigued me. This very intense tribal image intrigues me. It was great to see Sam Worthington come out on stage. I have a permanent crush on Zoe Saldana. She is like eloquent and effortlessly charming, and her coming out on stage was like, oh, Zoe Saldana, movie star. So yeah, I'm excited for this casually, but I know the impact it's going to have, so it's high up on my list. Next up is a quick one. We got a little tease in theater. They went through the actual stadium, made it look like behind the scenes footage, made it look like a POV, and then when it landed, it was a live action Lilo and Stitch. We've just seen Stitch so far. We don't know anything about the actual aesthetic of the film. We saw no footage of the film, but thanks to this, we have seen where we were, the Honda Center, and live action Stitch leaping out of it at us. Really cool way to make something that is shareable, but also personal to the people in the room. I think it's really clever to have something that's both unique, but also something you could put online immediately, and they did. As soon as this aired, it was out for everyone, but it was really cool in the room to experience, like, where is it? What's going to happen? So I like the look of Stitch. I'm not as invested in Lilo and Stitch as some other Disney properties. If this was a live-action Emperor's New Groove, we'd be talking. But this does look cool to me. It looks like Stitch. I love the Lilo and Stitch comics from Dynamite Comics, so there is a world of Lilo and Stitch that's growing and building, and this looks like it's going to join it, and I know people are going to lose their minds. Excited for Stitch. All right, this next one's a fun one, especially if you're a millennial.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Freakier Friday!
Freakier Friday is officially our sequel to Freaky Friday, and they made a huge deal of this. Not only was there a montage of people asking Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan, when's Freaky Friday? When's Freaky Friday? They made it kind of like a big post-Marvel moment. I thought this panel was 2 hours. I thought it was going to end with Marvel, and then it's like, what's going to possibly be the big crescendo? What builds and builds? Between the end of the panel and Marvel was Freakier Friday, and it had one of the biggest reactions in the room. 12,000 people freaking out about Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan must have felt great for someone that's been in the industry for 40 years and someone who hasn't been in giant public stuff in the last, 15. Lindsay Lohan was a child star in Disney. Between this and The Parent Trap and Herbie, she's done a lot in that space, and I think this is a really good way for her to come back if that's what she wants to do, which it seems like it is. And Freaky Friday means a lot to the millennial crowd. So Chad Michael Murray's coming back. Obviously, these two are back. I'm curious how the body swap happens this time. And Freakier Friday is one of those clever titles that you're like, yeah, of course it's named that. I can't wait. Genuinely looking forward to this one. All right, then we've got Mufasa. Now, Mufasa is the sequel/prequel to a movie that also made $1 billion, but I don't think is as beloved as Avatar. I like The Lion King, but I love the animated Lion King. The live action, taking away the personality and the charm and the charismatic nature of the characters, really hurt it in making them so photorealistic. So it's like a live action movie, but they're animated. Like, what do you determine is animated or live action if you have to animate these live action looking animals? So it's an odd thing to take away all their personality, but then have these amazing voice actors play them. It looks like they are doing something in between with Mufasa. They look more charismatic. They look like their faces move a little bit more to match the voice coming out of them. But the animals also move in a way that feels more like a musical and dynamic while still being very photorealistic, and not all the time. Like when you break into song and them dancing and stuff, they can't get on their hind legs. But manipulating the way the frame works to make it a little bit more dynamic looks like what Barry Jenkins did here. Barry Jenkins himself, I'm a big fan of. He was an usher at a movie theater for years, dreamed of doing this thing, and every time he speaks about the movie theater experience, I get more excited for anything he does. So to be honest, I'm more excited to support theater lover Barry Jenkins than sequel to a movie that I thought wasn't as good as the original animated one. And the fact that I don't love a Donald Glover Simba is crazy. Like, Donald Glover is one of my favorite performers on the planet, and that first movie I wanted to love, and I think that's part of the problem. So hopefully Mufasa turns things around for me. Mufasa, the story sounds fascinating. The origins of him and Scar, all the footage they showed was beautiful. It opened with this, which was insane as someone that loves The Lion King. The first notes from A Lion King were sung by this man, and this man is singing the first notes of Mufasa. That's beautiful. That's special. That plus Barry Jenkins has me in, What do you guys think? Are you excited for Mufasa? That song, that moment, that feeling in the room, and the footage has me more sold than I would have expected. Alright, so one of the ones I'm not personally as invested in because it looks like not my thing is Snow White. Snow White is one of the classics. It's one of the first, I think it's the first feature-length animated film, and I'll always have that. I have no problem with remakes. They don't get rid of the original. I know a lot of people don't like remakes because they think it desecrates. The original still exists as long as you own it on Blu-ray, and don't think digital is yours to own because they can take that away at any time. But if you own the movie, it's yours. I love the first Snow White. This one, I would have cast people to play the 7 small people. I don't know what I can say about that word. I think we can say dwarves because it's having dwarfism. I'm going to say the 7 dwarves, and I hope that's okay because the internet likes to get mad at people for using words that I don't know if they're allowed to use, and hope it's okay. But I would have cast people. The act of not casting people took away jobs from people that don't probably work as often as other actors, and you took away like 20 jobs because you'd have the people playing the roles and then their stand-ins and then like other people working in that capacity with the 7 leads that you didn't cast. So I get that voice actors are playing the roles and I get those things, but it does feel odd to not have the 7 leads of the film next to Snow White. It was called Snow White and the 7 Dwarves. Like those are the co-leads. I don't know. And the Uncanny Valley look isn't for me. I actually really like Rachel Zegler. I know it's very popular not to. I thought she was amazing in Hunger Games. I think the way she handles press and being as successful and famous as she is so rapidly really well. I enjoy the fact that she stands up for herself. Rachel Zegler I like, and she can sing. Her performance isn't my problem. It's the motion capture Uncanny Valley performance that's going to be really hard for me to watch. So I might see this, but of the announcements, I mean, this has been developed for like 3 years. I don't know. It doesn't look better than I feared. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll at least watch the next trailer. I'll give it another chance, but Uncanny Valley for days. One of the craziest things that happened in that panel was everyone was post-Marvel like, oh my god, all this stuff's happening. And then a National Geographic logo popped up and we're like, are we closing out this panel with Nat Geo? Because again, we thought this was 2 hours. And I love National Geographic. I'm like, maybe they've got some big thing and then maybe that is how we'll close this out. And then David Blaine took the stage and performed the biggest magic trick for the largest audience in the history of magic. There's never been a 12,000 person magic trick, according to David Blaine himself, and I'm sure he knows the man is a scholar and performer of magic. And he did a card trick that I can't even describe. It was insane. It involved, people on stage, 2 people on stage, deck of cards, everyone in the audience getting a deck of cards, putting a card under your seat, and then everyone having the exact same card after shuffling themselves. It was staggering.
Follow the instructions. You did not open it. Thank you.
Of course it's a date.
Good. Everybody has the envelope, yes? Can everybody rip open the envelope? Just rip it open.
It was so impressive. He did a 12,000 person magic trick where every single person, after shuffling themselves, ended up with the same card that no one could have possibly swapped out, and it was a real deck of cards. It was so impressive. He's, charismatic in his dark way, and it was a really cool way to share in that experience of adrenaline and magic and wonder. And that is what these movies are, and that is what Nat Geo brings, awe. There was a room of awe. 12,000 people felt awe. And, I forget how much I love magic till I'm experiencing magic. It was magic. So that was really cool. Now I'm excited for the special. It totally worked. I'm now sold on something, David Blaine's Do Not Attempt, that I probably wouldn't have been as invested in. Now I'm very excited to check this special out. David Blaine. It was so cool. And this last one is not because I'm not interested. It is because I don't know that much about it, because it was just announced for the very first time after the Moana 2 performance, which was incredible, and that footage. We're going to talk about Moana 2 in the animated video. The Rock announced he's doing a live-action movie at Disney called Monster Jam. Check this out.
I'm so excited to break the news to you guys. As you guys know, look, I'm a pickup truck man. That's all I drive. I drove my pickup truck here. It's out back. You guys know that. And I love motorsports, love monster trucks. And, when it came to Alan and Disney, I said, we got an opportunity here that we could create something that is immersive and cool and fun, and also a live action experience for families all around the world, from the POV of these incredible, iconic monster trucks and their very eccentric and crazy drivers. Eccentric and crazy is on my resume. So, ladies and gentlemen, Monster Jam's gonna be a heck of a ride. Get ready.
Well, that looks really fun.
I mean, monster trucks, The Rock, that entire subculture, that insanity. Monster trucks are a weird subculture that has a devout audience, and there's such a personality. There's such a strong characterization in it. I think this could be really special. I know, again, like with Rachel Zegler, it's very popular not to like The Rock, but I do. It's always been very kind to me, always been a force of positivity and inspiration and aspiration, and he helps a lot of people. So I like The Rock. I want to see him do well. I'm excited to check this out, and what an interesting take, like the subculture of people in monster trucks starring The Rock, all of that. Yeah, let's do that. So those were the 8 biggest announcements in live action out of Disney's D23 Expo. What are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments below. Is it Tron Ares? Is it Freakier Friday? Are you a huge Lilo and Stitch fan? Can you not wait for Avatar? Which one of these things is it? Am I completely wrong about Snow White? Let me know in the comments below. And also, let's keep growing this page, so please hit that subscription bell. Want this baby at 35K. Then I'm hoping, it's a month from my birthday as of today, I'm hoping by my 36th birthday I've got 36K. That seems very doable. So the next little mini mission, 36K by September 15th. All right, much love. Subscribe, like, leave a comment. I appreciate each and every one of you. Let's keep growing this page. I will see you tomorrow, hopefully, if all goes well, for the animated breakdown from D23. All right, bye guys.